Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Today we are but we're doing a review on Dispatch. So, I completed the game a couple days ago. I completed it on, I believe, Thursday of this week, which, if I check the timeline, let's see when that day was. Thursday was the 13th, and the last two episodes came out on the 12th. So, I finished the game up, and I was able to get everything done, record all the videos, and my final episode came out on Friday. So I posted the final two episodes out on Friday. So if you haven't seen my full playthrough, make sure you please go through and check that out. But now, um, now I want to rate the game. And to be honest, I've been having a couple days to think about it, and I'm trying to think here. I don't know what exactly I'm gonna decide and gonna do, but I think let's just start out now. Let's give my rating. My rating for this game is a 9 out of 10. That's right. So it's gonna be a 9 out of 10. And the reason why I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 is I think the story is perfect. Okay, maybe not perfect, but I enjoy the story a lot. I think it was very engaging. I was never lost. I never, lost attention, nor did I ever become uninterested. I really was just locked in the entire time and was engaged the entire time as well. And every time something happened, I was there. I wanted to know what happened next, and I wanted to be there, continuing playing every episode again and again. I wanted to keep playing them. I wanted to do the other options, see what the other options were, things like that. So I would say story-wise, I was very entertained and engaged, and that is the most important part in a game like this, because the game is basically just, it's a decision-based game where you decide, the choices you make kind of dictate where the story goes. Obviously, the story has a main goal, but, you get to make some choices throughout the story. So I would say overall 9 out of 10. One of the main reasons I'm giving it 9 out of 10 is because of the story. But now, I want to talk about the gameplay. The gameplay. I mean, I love the dispatching sections. I think I'm a big fan of D&D personally. So everyone having their own skill points and own unique abilities, and these characters are, for example, I built like my Invisigal to be into intelligent and mobility and kind of charisma. So she was, those were her big three stats, but her other stats were a little weaker. Versus, Flambe, who was very combating and has a lot of vigor and, all that stuff. So definitely, I enjoyed the RPG aspect of it. And the actual dispatching itself, and sometimes certain characters go specifically with certain actions. So if we skip to gameplay here, certain things, for example, remove the giant monsters. Like some things, it's like, okay, well, this character fits this situation. Or like, for example, Milova, I believe is how you say her name. She would have a lot of ghost-related, demon-related quests, and if you sent her on those, you would get unique power. Like, you would get to use her unique power and guarantee pass the quest. So those ones are really cool. Where if you got it right the first time, it'd be awesome. So that was really cool. I like the hero training. I liked being able to send certain heroes to train so that they could gain new abilities and become stronger. I really liked that. What else? I would say, obviously besides the skill tree system, the synergies, and eventually I only found out like the last couple synergies on the very last episode. So That is kind of a bummer for me, but I did finally get them all on that last episode. I was understanding who had what synergy and if you max them out and things like that. So that was really cool. The item system here, it rewards you if you do well. Guess what? Now you have some stuff. You could heal a teammate, you know, take a teammate out of rest immediately, and just really cool shit like that. Each character, I love the dialogue in between. All of them chatting at each other, whether it's related to the quest they're doing or just chit chatting it up. Or for example, in episode 4, where they're kind of fucking with each other. Now, playing episode 4 the first time, or I think it's episode 3, sorry. Playing episode 3 the first time, definitely enjoyed it. But when I had to redo this episode a couple times because of audio issues. So when I had to redo it, that kind of pissed me off. But besides that, I enjoyed the game a lot, and just see, perfect. And just sending them to be like, yes, I got it. It was really good. For me, I also think that the dialogue options in this game were really good. Now, it's hard because some dialogue options, when you say certain things, they are meaningless, if that kind of makes sense. Like, sometimes when you choose a dialogue choice, it kind of doesn't really matter what you say. Well, sometimes it does. Now, the ones that do matter, those ones are very okay, I like those choices because it really makes you think and question. But the other ones are kind of just silly and just oh, let's see what reaction we get. But overall, I would say all the voice acting is fantastic. The game looks beautiful. I love the art style and how the game looks. And even though it's not very combat heavy, I think this, as in the gameplay section I'm showing here, is just perfect. I enjoy that a lot. It's just my thing. What else? So I would say, besides the fantastic art, the characters each being fun and unique in their own ways, and having, whether it's a cool voice actor, someone I know, or just the way they pull it off. I think the story and the gameplay mix together really well. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I did not create a script for this. Hate me if you want. I didn't create a script for this. I'm just kind of going off the dome. But I will say, I think in the beginning, dispatching is somewhat easy. I think it only really gets harder near the last 2 episodes. The dispatching only kind of gets complicated near the last 2 episodes. So maybe if they ever do a sequel to this game, or add a season 2 or something, I just hope that it becomes a little more engaging, in the sense of, sometimes it's too easy, especially once you get into those high levels and all your characters are kind of maxed out, But then again, I've been watching people play the game and they're still fucking up somehow. So maybe it isn't too easy for other people. Maybe I was just good at it. I wasn't saying I'm perfect. No, I'm not gonna say I'm perfect. These hacking sections, man, fucked me up a lot. But yeah. Anywho, I would definitely say, I don't want to get to this topic yet, but the romance is a big part of the game. So I've been watching a bunch of people play the game, and to kind of intertwine this with the story section, let's talk about the characters. So, who do I want to talk about first? Let's talk about... We'll get to the romance in a second. Let's talk about my favorite ZT member. Probably, gameplay-wise, was Golem. I think Golem was sick as hell. And personality and kind of lore-wise, I think I was really fucking with Sonar. It's a tie between Sonar and Flambe. In the beginning, I actually really didn't fuck with Flambe, but after that episode where it was kind of focused on him and it shows him, I definitely say those two are definitely tied between my favorite ZT members. Now, I'm separating I want to make this clear though. I'm separating Invisigal and Blonde Blazer because yes, Invisigal is a Z team member, but she's also a romance option, and so I'm kind of putting her in the romance option section. So if I added her to the Z team section, then she would definitely be my favorite Z team character. But if I'm not choosing her, it'd probably be either Sonar or Flambe, or yeah, I mean between those two, probably. I mean maybe even Prism. Prism was really cool, gameplay wise. But gameplay wise, I was probably gonna go heavy, especially in that last episode. Make sure you go check that out, by the way. But yeah, I would also say that you know when you choose choices in this game, as I was kind of saying earlier, some choices don't feel like it's a dramatic change. And I hope that's maybe in a season 2 or a sequel or just a new game. They do something about that, if that makes sense. Because some choices I definitely feel like in my head made more sense, but then they wouldn't, they wouldn't do much. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. But it is what it is. That's why I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. I think it's not a perfect game, but it's one of my favorite games I've played in a very long time, for sure. Now, let's just get to it. Let's just get to the big one. Besides the story, we'll talk about the ending near the end of the video, but I want to talk about the romance because I feel like that's a big part of it. So this game allows you to romance either Blonde Blazer or Invisigal, and it's been a lot of controversy. Obviously, whether it's like you prefer them off of looks or personality, that choice is up to you, which is fine. And I think whichever one you go with is okay. I just think the biggest thing and the biggest difference is what I noticed in my gameplay. I went for Invisigal. That's just kind of my type. It's just what I care for, and also the game's message about redemption and giving second chances so people can become who they are meant to be. That's kind of Invisigal's whole plot, and I feel like some people don't understand that, and because some people, or maybe not some people don't understand that, I don't really know. I don't want to attack people here, but the whole game is about redeeming the heroes, right? Or redeeming these villains who were once in a bad spot, but they're not those people anymore. They're trying to become better. They're trying to be different, right? And so it's like if they're trying to be different and become better, well then wouldn't you want them to grow and change, right? So to do that, you need to send them and right. Make them do better choices, help them, guide them. Because as Robert, your goal is to guide these heroes. I mean, quote unquote heroes, right? Because they're not heroes yet. But your goal is to guide these people into becoming the heroes they're meant to be. And depending on the choices you make is how you mentor each one of them. Now, obviously, you get a very in-depth mentoring with Invisigal, whether you romance her or not. If you romance her, obviously it kind of sways a little bit, and you get involved with her. But even if you don't romance her, you still get so many options to help guide her onto the right path. And Invisigal is a character who genuinely just tries to do a lot of good, but sometimes doesn't. She makes mistakes, or she keeps getting herself caught in problems, or whatever it may be. And I feel like people who chose Blonde Blazer, this is how I see it. If you romance Blonde Blazer, you're taking the easy route. Not just like not based off physical appearance, by the way. I just mean in general of if you're taking her, it's because she's already the goody two shoes character, and she's perfect. Like she's the perfect idea of what a hero should be, what you're looking for, right? While Invisigal is someone who hasn't even reached that yet, but with your guidance, and if you decide to fall for her and fall in love with the character, you can get her there. But I feel like it's a lot more work to do, and especially with what you learn and what she ends up doing to your character, and you learn, oh, this is what she did. yeah, it definitely becomes a lot more, fuck, right? So, now, let's go, okay. Blonde Blazer, we have her. She's great, cool character. Then we have Invisigal, right? It's like, what are we doing? Do we want to challenge ourselves? I mean, this is just romancing specific. Are you gonna try and get her to open up more, to talk more about herself, reveal who she is, because you're trying to break her walls down so that she can open up to you and be like, this is who I am, this is who I want to be, and yada yada yada, right? So the romance really kind of starts at the beginning of episode 4 here, and well, it gets kind of crazy, you know. The beginning of episode 4 is when it really kind of shows you that, oh, Invisigal is into you, right? Whether it's a physical thing or just, she's attracted, whatever it may be. And then this is the episode where it goes, okay, the player is going to have to decide who they care for more. Do they want to go for Invisigal or do they want to go for Blonde Blazer? Now, in Invisigal's kind of like, in her head, she goes after you because she's just like, hey, I had a dream that we was fucking, so if I have a dream like that and I'm remembering that, then it must mean something, right? And so, depending if you romance her or not, I mean, once again, but let's say we are, in which place I did. And the reason why I did is not just because, oh my god, Gooner mentality. No, it's not because of that. I did because I saw her as someone who, she's sad. She's a sad person. She's grown up as a villain, with a probably shitty childhood. I don't know all of that. I didn't read any comics, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, so she grew up with a shitty childhood, and with that, she was probably struggling. Didn't have any mentors in her life. Didn't have any father figures. I mean, who knows, right? I don't know her past. I mean, I don't know if there's in the comics, but I don't know her past, right? So if we don't know her past, we don't know what she went through. But obviously, she's recovering. Not just like from all the stress, but just in general. Like, she's gone through so much shit in life. She's trying to become this hero. And in episode 3, you give her this hope of, you talk about the fate, and depending on which dialogue you choose, you're like, you choose your destiny, right? That's what I said. And the whole goal of the game is for you to guide her to the light, because she, every chance she has, almost falls to the dark, even though she's trying to do good. But there's a lot of times where she's trying to do good, and when she does the good thing, even though it's, good intentions, it might not end out or show as a good effort, if that makes sense. Sometimes in life, when we want to do the right thing, we attempt to do the right thing, but yet, when we attempt to do the right thing, unfortunately, things happen and it gets shown off as not the right, or, other people interpret it in different ways. Anyways, Invisigal's romance, I think, is a very important key to this story, and I can't blame you if you choose Blazer as the romance. I can't blame you for that. But if you choose her, once again, I see it as you are. I mean, well, okay, let's say this. If you choose Blonde Blazer as the romance and deny that to helping Invisigal, that's kind of a problem, because that's kind of crazy. But if you choose Blonde Blazer as the romance and still help Invisigal, W. But once again, I think it's just easier to understand what Invisigal's gone through, because Blonde Blazer is, once again, Mandy. She's a perfect character, right? Perfect looks, perfect powers, whatever, the ideal hero. Vizzy is not. Courtney, which is her name, hasn't reached that yet, and so her whole goal, once again, to reiterate, is trying to be that. She wants to be seen as that. What you see Blonde Blazer as, she wants to be seen as well. Anyways, y'all. So, just a couple points I wanted to get out. Uh, for me personally, uh, this is my opinion on why I believe the Invisigal romance is better. And one of it starts with, I mean, to be honest, uh, this is this could go for both, but it's not. You guys don't instantly fall in love with each other. Obviously, it takes multiple episodes. Now you gotta remember, these episodes take courses over like weeks and days. It's not just like one, two, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? It's literally like weeks have passed in the time. So multiple days have passed. So you, assuming, have grown closer to each character, including the romance option, depending on what you pick. And the when you start diving deeper into helping her, whether it's romantically or not, she genuinely tries her hardest to do everything to choose better for not just you, but to become a hero. Now, I know you can do this without the hero option, but or not without the hero, but without the romance option, she can still be a hero at the end of the day. But I just believe personally, canonically, it just makes more sense for these two characters to kind of fall in love. Or, I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like these two characters make more sense to fall for each other. They kind of similar, and they're both broken people, but then they find. But one of them being Robert, depending on like kind of Robert you play, the Robert I play was kind of like a hero, right? I imagine him as the hero, the guy who never gives up. His dad told him never give up. And Chase was always like, you gotta keep up, you gotta keep going, you gotta keep going. And so Robert inflicts those morals that he learned, and he was taught onto Invisigal, and that kind of truly molds her and helps her become the hero she is meant to be. And with the romancing, she's given a reason, at least in my head, she's given more of a reason to try her best and try harder than versus just without. Now, one of the biggest scenes, in episode 4 is you deciding, do I go on the movie date with Invisigal, or do I go on the date with Blonde Blazer? If you go on the date with Invisigal, it opens her up, and she goes, whoa, like, are we hanging out? Like, is this really what we're doing? And it gets her to break her walls down, like I said earlier, and just kind of reminds her that, hey, you're part of the team, you're part of my crew, and maybe we could be friends. And this is how it starts, right? This is how it starts. And she's like, wait, hello, he's looking at me, and not just in like, not just in the, oh, he wants to fuck away, but like he cares. And I feel like she hasn't had somebody who's ever really cared for her like that. I mean, once again, I don't know, because I only played the game, so I haven't read any comics. I don't know if that's explained, but I just feel like that it just, what you do for her benefits great. And one of the big things is when she looks to you, it's in like episode 8 or 7, no, in 7, she wants to be helpful, right? She's always been trying to help. She's been trying to help. So before I go to episode 7, let's talk about the next big scene, which I believe is episode 6. At this point, if you choose episode 4 and you go with her, episode 5 is pretty chill. Nothing really crazy happens except like the bar scene where you guys kind of talk to each other and get more along. But episode 6 is the big one where she decides, spoilers by the way, she decides to go and find the Astral Pulse because they have its location, potentially. And depending on your option of whether or not you decide, do you think it's smart for us to go and get the Astral Pulse now or later? Then, depending on what you choose, are you backing her up or are you not backing her up? Now, in my playthrough, because I was like, okay, well, this is the character I'm going for. This is the character I'm falling in love with. Robert, I feel like, would believe in Invisigal and believe in her abilities to go, let's do it now, let's strike now. And obviously there was other things that helped me make that decision, but you know, I was like, hey, let's get it going, let's go, let's do this now. So we went to go do it, and what ends up happening is, she gets the Astral Pulse, but then Shroud shows up, steals the case, knocks her out, gasses her, and she's gonna die. And then the big moment happens where, I'll show you guys. In this scene here, she's getting all messed up, you know, and she can't get to her inhaler. You're trying to tell her, fight it, fight it, fight it. Because, once again, in my playthrough, I supported her decision, right? I said, this is my gal, she's gonna do it, she's gonna lock in. But then, because she can't get up, Chase goes, I'm gonna go and save her. Because that's the heroic thing to do. At the end of the day, he is a hero, and that is his goal. So he leaves, and he goes to go save her. And this is the big moment at the end of episode 6, where, depending on if you choose, regardless, she's gonna do this, she goes anyways, but you supporting her makes her feel like she didn't do anything, like she is doing the right thing. Like, yes, she's being kind of dumb about it, and she's jumping the gun, right? She's jumping the gun on it, but it's the support you are saying, I got your back on this, that's why it hits different, you know? And that's why she, you know, believes in herself more, because of Robert's support or the choices as the player makes, right? In supporting her and going, no, you can do this, I believe in you. You know, it's risky, but I believe in you can take the risk because this is right. So in episode 7, you get to episode 7 and you're going, okay, well, she's here, right? And, okay, we're good. She's here. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 second. Okay, there we go. So we're good. Anywho, so in episode 7, you get to decide, the team is like, hey, she fucked up. She shouldn't be a part of the team. But you're like, nah, bro. Lock in. And this is, once again, she's in the room at this time, and you might not know that when you first play it, but she's in the room. And so you get to decide, am I going to back her up? Am I going to defend her, or am I going to cut her from the team? Once again, in my choice, in my gameplay, I defended her. And the reason why I defended her, no, is not I'm a dick rider, but it's because I'm the one who said you should go out. She should go out. And she's going to go do her thing. Because I supported that decision, in her going, even though she failed at the end of the day, guess what? I said, you know what? Let's still go. Or, because I supported you in going and you failed, I'm taking the. This is on me because I told you to go. And regardless, even though she went by herself and she was going to go no matter what, in my playthrough, because I told her to go, it made sense for me to back her up. And, what Robert says here is true. Now is not the time to cast blame. We need to come together and heal, and we need to support each other. Because, guess what? She, while the Z team wasn't happy with it, my choice was, hey, I'm supporting her. I love this character. As Robert, he is in love with her. He supports her, so he wants to do everything he can for her. Which means, I got you when you got me. She's done her best. She's done everything she can to do what she thinks a hero does. Sure, it might not be in the most heroic way or in the correct way, but she's still doing it, So, anywho, there's a lot that the whole romance thing, I've been reading a lot about it on Twitter, and it's just people are like, oh my god, she acts like a bitch, and she's a child, and it's like, well, because she's broken, bro. She's broken. Like, she's not perfect. Like, she hasn't had the structure that Robert had when growing up. So, of course, she doesn't know what it is to act like. Like, she doesn't know how to act properly in these situations. So she learns, and she goes, okay, let's do it. Let's lock in and let's try to do it for each other. And so, you know, it's just like, what else are you gonna do, right? Anywho, I just had to skip over. I don't want this to be on video, but it's like you learn of her secret. She tells you what she did, and you're like, oh shit, like she was the one who snuck up on me and exploded and did the bomb and everything. But it's at the end of the day, dude. I don't know. I feel like at this point in time, she's doing this because she has to, not because she wants to. She didn't know who you were. How can you blame her for that, right? And it's just all these things that add up, and people go, "Oh my god," and she's a bitch, and she. This is why I do blonde blazer because she's perfect, and she would never have done anything. Well, of course she would never do anything like that because she didn't grow up with some shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying, chat? I don't know, bro. It's crazy. But long story short, I think both romances are great. Okay, regardless of which one you choose, as long as you don't forget that the story or the point of this game is to help those who are trying to redeem themselves be redeemed. Your goal is to mentor them and to help them, regardless of who you choose romantically. That is your goal, and that is what she does. That is what I did for her. I feel like that's just the correct thing to do because that's what your goal is as the Z team leader. That is literally what Blonde Blazer tells you to do, is to help reform these villains into heroes. Now, romance, whether or not you choose her is up to you, but in my opinion, Invisigal is the GOAT. She's the best. I love her. But anywho, besides that, you know, I mean, even in the scene, she's like, I just always wanted to look and, I wanted you to look at me the way you looked at Blonde Blazer, you know? And once again, it just, that shit hits. But anywho, I want to finally talk about the ending, which is the Shroud boss fight, which is pretty cool, so let's get to that right now. So, in the last episode, everybody kind of comes together and, teams up, depending on who you've chosen and stuff to, help fight with you. But anyways, the cultivation of everything comes together, and everyone's like, alright, let's do this. Let's fight. Let's do this. Let's go in. And so, that scene is fucking funny, by the way. He's just like, punch up. He's known for punching dicks. That's all he does is punch his dick. But anywho, so Shroud, voiced by Matt Mercer, man, GOAT, King, love it. He did great. Now, for me, Shroud, I think is an enjoyable villain. I enjoyed him, and I like what he had to offer because it's very simple to understand. Your father promised him a suit. He didn't get the suit, and he didn't get what he wanted. And I guess because he wasn't the hero he saw him as, he kind of betrayed him and lied to him. And so Shroud was like, "Oh well, fuck you. I'm gonna take it for myself then, because I'm the one who built the Astral Pulse. You don't get to just take this away from me and lie to me, right?" So, boom, boom, boom. Now, obviously, there is more in the comics. I have not read those comics. I cannot tell you what happens in the comics. So, do not get mad at me if I am saying something that I do not know, because I don't know. And damn, it is raining hard outside. But anywho, so continuing, one of the coolest things is the Shroud fight. Is he gets in your head, bro. He gets in your head, and he's like super calculated. He knows everything. He's all about predictability and the numbers and all this stuff. It's really cool, and I think his design is great. His voice actor is great. It just comes together really well. His reasoning for being evil is completely fine with me. I think it just makes sense. It's not something too complicated, and it's not something that's like, too long drawn out. I think it's good. But I think if I had a problem with Shroud is that we didn't see him more. And to be honest, I wish I could have seen him more, seen him do some more shit, so that he could have been more threatening at the end. But at the, I guess it really doesn't matter because in that one episode that he really does show up in, he kicks ass. So I cannot complain. I'm mad to see, I love my boy Matt Mercer, so I'd of course love to get some more of him. But let's talk about the ending here when eventually everything gets destroyed. So I'll cut to that right now. Right around here is when, you defeated the mech and everything's all good. But then Shroud's like, hey, I'm still kicking, I'm still here, my team is still here, give me the fucking Astral Pulse. Right? And he knows that you have two of them. So he knows you have two of the Astral Pulses, right? Because one's a fake, one's real, and he's threatening you with the good boy beef. Oh, cutie beef. But anywho, and so he's threatening you with him, and you're like, ah, shit, what am I gonna do? And so you're like, damn, what am I gonna do? Oh, I guess we'll, figure out. And then here is also revealed what Invisigal is planted, like the whole master plan, and depending on if he had chose her or not as a romance, and also if he had supported her, she ends up becoming a villain if you do not support her. But I did, so of course she takes the heroic route. But anywho, let's continue. I really like how his design is, by the way. Well, I already said it once, but his design is sick as fuck. In this last episode, though, he's like, don't fuck around. I'm smarter than you, and it shows. I mean, like in every fight sequence until the very end, he is basically whooping your fucking ass. So it is very believable for him to like do all this crazy shit to you. Also, don't want my boy beef like that. That's crazy. But anywho, I just want to say I really enjoyed Shroud. Now there is two options, or there's technically three options you could do. You could kill Shroud. You could not right there, but later you can kill Shroud, or you can spare him. Or if Invisigal ends up choosing the villain route, then she kills Shroud. So in 2 out of the 3 endings for Shroud, he dies or he survives. Now, in my ending, I let him live. I'll explain why. Once again, I have the idea that my Robert is the true definition of heroism. And, for him, giving everybody chances and giving everybody, a chance to redeem themselves is what Robert does. I feel like that's what he's meant for, as Mecha Man. Now, when it comes to Shroud's case, not to redeem himself, but I'm not gonna give him the easy way out. I feel like the easy way out is killing him. And yes, while he did a lot of fucked up shit to me, I think Robert has grown past those things. And while you can't do anything about it, you've done the best you can. And there's nothing you can change. And killing Shroud, in my opinion, won't change the fact that he's killed your father. So instead of living that revenge cycle, yeah, fuck it. And we just let him rot in jail or whatever happens, if they ever make a sequel. So we'll see. Because I have no idea what if there even is going to be a canon ending. Because if there's going to be a canon ending, then is Shroud going to live? Who knows? I couldn't tell you. But anywho, in this scene, he gets all super powerful. He's like, oh yes, I bought the right Astral Pulse. If you give him both. But no, it's a lie. He literally just does not get the Astral Pulse. He gets fucking blown up. But anyway, y'all, this video is way too long. I've been yapping. Point is I enjoyed this game. It's 9 out of 10. Some things were kind of predictable. Sometimes, but not all the time. But to be honest, I enjoyed it. I think this was exactly what I was wanting, and even more. And at the end of the day, I'm not upset about it. I liked it. I would love to play it again, and hopefully whenever my girl comes home, I want her to play it and experience it for herself. Invisigal all the way. Not that I hate Blonde Blazer, but I just think that's the easy option and the easy way out if you don't want to, But Invisigal all the way. That's my goat. That's my king. That's my queen. And I love Chase. That Chase scene fucked me up. That Chase scene really fucked me up. That shit got me sad as fuck. Shroud, W, villain, fantastic voice actor. All of them fantastic voice actors, to be honest. The plot, once again, the art style, it's just the gameplay. It's just so good. I just really wish I could replay this game again, bro. I really do. But I'm gonna have to end this video because if I don't, I'm gonna keep yapping. And I think I already got my point across. But I love you guys, and let me know what you guys have done, what you guys chose, what you guys did. And yeah, W beef, by the way, W beef. But at the end of the day, it's a fantastic game. I would give it a 9 out of 10. There's just some things I would, some minor things I would change about it. Besides that, I really enjoyed it, and I recommend it. And if you are watching this video, who'd you choose? Did you choose a romance option? Did you get a good ending? Did you get a bad ending? Did you spare Shroud? Did you kill Shroud? What did you do? I was watching Flats. Yeah, he literally got like the worst fucking ending possible. It was crazy. But yeah, all right, y'all. It has been my pleasure. Until next time, I'll see you. Bye bye.